Hello everyone, and welcome to the spaces we're hosting with Venom India. And today we have Daryll, who's the Chief Strategy Officer at Venom Foundation, with us to answer some questions that you guys might have about Venom Network and building on Venom. And we also have Shantanu here, who's a developer who will be asking questions to Daryll. And at the end of the spaces, if you guys have any questions, you guys can just request to come up, and we can come up and ask Daryll whatever you want to ask. So, Shantanu, you want to go ahead and start the space?
Okay, perfect. I hope you guys can hear me clear and well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction. Hi, Daryl. Welcome to the forum. It's a pleasure hosting you today. Um, so let's get started. I have a couple set of questions. These questions are derived mostly from community or existing using them. And so I just shoot right away.
Sure, man. Looking forward to it. Great to hear.
Awesome. So the first question is about what is Venom blockchain and what are its the beneficial key features?
Glad you asked. Well, Venom blockchain, for everyone that doesn't know, so we're a blockchain based out of Abu Dhabi, and actually the first blockchain with the ADGM license. But as for the tech itself, on our base chain, we actually have innovative tech like dynamic sharding, account abstraction, and we boast feeds of instant finality and over 100,000 transactions per second. So really fast, really scalable, low fees, everything you need to achieve mass adoption, really.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We started with Venom, but there is an important ingredient that we missed out a bit. That is your introduction, Daryl. I'm so sorry. I forgot introducing Daryl to the whole spaces right now. Daryl is a CSO at Venom, and I think the speaker himself can throw more light on. So Daryl, the stage is up to you. You can throw more light on what you do, and how does your journey with Venom has been so far. Would love if you can share a few words here.
Sure. Yeah. So far, Venom, it's been fabulous. We've been kicking off testnet. It's been a success. Mainly, what I do is just ecosystem growth, looking at strategic initiatives that we can to grow this ecosystem together. We allocate grants. We assist with the Venom Ventures Fund in terms of investment, and just initiatives that grow our developer community, but also our user community at the same time, right? So that's all in all what I do.
Awesome, perfect. Cool. I'll get the next sort of question. So, what are the benefits of using Venom blockchain for a developer?
Yeah, so the main benefits of Venom Block is, of course, the scalability and low fees, right? Venom Blockchain is really for applications that are going to end up in this next bull run where we really get mass adoption. We always anticipate that the next bull run will be started by Web2 entrants into the market that are going to give the whole crypto market in general a lot more users, and they're going to need a scalable architecture to actually build their applications on. And that's what Venom blockchain is for. But also for other layer ones, they also have the opportunity to build on Venom. Since we do have a heterogeneous architecture, right? We can build separate chains under our architecture that can all communicate with each other and work interoperable through our whole ecosystem. So yeah, we have some similarities to a Cosmos, a Polkadot in that sense. On the other hand, we're an ultra scalable, low fee chain as well.
Got it. So there is a follow-up question. What are the challenges that blockchain, Venom blockchain faces, and how is it different from the existing L1s and L2s out there?
The challenges, I think the biggest challenges for any blockchain really in this space is attracting people to actually come onto your chain. So I say this because for one, like Venom, we have a different language, TSOL, which is actually a dialect of Solidity that the developers probably know about. And the biggest issue is actually getting developers to overcome that hurdle of learning the new language. The main thing that drives developers to actually go and develop on your chain is the incentives of learning the language, which is developers want to cater to as many users as they can with their applications. So they're only going to look for the chains with the most users, right? This attracts developers to go and build on Ethereum because they know that there are tons of users. But think about it like this: Ethereum has 550,000 active wallet addresses, something around that, right? Now, a small country that we're targeting with our fiat-backed stablecoins and CBDC initiatives has over 100 million users, where 49% is unbanked. So, with that being said, Venom actually positions itself as the blockchain that's actually going to be able to attract this large amount of users, which will then, in effect, drive developers to go to develop on our chain because they know this is where the users are going to be at.
But that's a massive number of people, that you're trying to get on board with CBDCs that you're issuing.
For sure. That's the whole mission, right? When people ask us, how do you guys feel about CBDCs? We're also crypto native. We don't have a standpoint against CBDCs or with CBDCs. We're pretty neutral in that sense. The only thing that we do know is, they are going to come. Let's at least build the infrastructure to be able to facilitate CBDCs in the future, which is a highly scalable architecture, which Venom is, right? And other than the financial incentives of actually implementing these initiatives, it's more a user acquisition strategy. That's all it is. The ability to onboard Web 2 users to Web 3. Think about just account abstraction in its simplest form, right? What the use cases could be. One thing that we're working on at the moment is actually being able to transact any kind of token on chain using Venom in the background to pay gas fees. So that's what mass adoption looks like, right? If I want to onboard my parents into crypto, they can't hold Venom or Ethereum or BNB in their account to pay for gas fees. They just want to send USDT freely to all of their friends and family, right? These kinds of things have to be taken in mind when you want to reach mass adoption.
Yeah, for sure. So now that you say that you're trying to get the banked people to go unbanked, who would your users be, like, ideally, and how do you plan on getting them on board and getting them to know about the Venom ecosystem?
Well, seeing as we are a general purpose chain, the users really depend on the kinds of use cases that we can deliver on our chain. And the use cases come in the form of applications, right? So I think to better answer that question, what kind of projects are we seeing attracted to Venom? And that's mostly, we see a lot of projects from the fintech space actually coming onto Venom. I see it in the applications of our VVF. I see them applying for grants. They see Venom as kind of the blockchain that will be the first chain that they're actually going to start using smart contract languages. So if you think about any ideal app, would it be like a Uniswap that would come to Venom? I'd say more it would be like a Revolut or like an N26. But next to that, because we are a general purpose chain, we also see big use cases for SocialFi, just your usual DeFi stuff, GameFi. One pretty cool application is actually doing encrypted messaging on Venom. I just love this application because it just shows what is possible on Venom and not on other chains. Essentially, how it works is you have peer-to-peer encrypted messaging using blockchain to facilitate the messaging. And if you just compare it to like an Ethereum, for example, nobody wants to send a message for $20, right? But if you're paying 0.0002 cents, then your use case can actually come to life. It's not as much as a barrier for the end user. So it's a good example of what is possible on chain.
I think that sounds pretty exciting, the stuff that's being built on Venom right now. So I wanted to know, what is the roadmap for Venom blockchain itself? Like, what does the roadmap look like in the future?
Yeah, so because we are a layer 0 and a layer 1, right now is really focused on the layer 1 testnet. As we've seen, really surpassed our expectations. We've seen a lot of traction. People are enjoying exploring the network. And now we're gearing up to actually go into mainnet. Now, mainnet, it's important for us because this is actually where we can actually start to test our test flights that we have with fiat-backed stablecoin initiatives, CBDC initiatives, and so forth. It really has to be done on a real network to really take full effect. But after that, since we are layer 0, the plan is really to expand to more chains under our ecosystem, right? So the possibilities are endless here. We see a future where we have application-specific chains. So there could be one chain just for GameFi, one chain just for DeFi, right? There could be another chain, which is a privacy chain, where you can't see account balances and everything is kind of anonymous. Anything is really possible. So the opportunities are endless, but first it's really testnet, mainnet, and then expanding the whole layer zero ecosystem rather than just the layer one.
Got it. So yeah, it just sounds like, like once you guys have built out everything, the Venom ecosystem is just going to be massive.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So my next question is, what sort of consensus mechanism is used by Venom blockchain?
Yeah, so we use a threaded Byzantine fault tolerant consensus mechanism. So standard BFT consensus mechanism. But next to that, our validators actually do something pretty cool. Dynamic sharding, as you might have seen, which is actually computational sharding of validators to process transactions in parallel. So this allows us to achieve the scalability that we have while not sacrificing any security at the same time.
Got it. What is the maximum supply of Venom tokens right now in the ecosystem?
So when mainnet launches, and right now it's set at 7,200,000,000 Venom tokens.
Gotcha. And since you were saying, with sharding and all the features that you're enabling, Venom blockchain is very secure. So can you tell us more about, how are people's funds and, everything that's built on Venom like extra secure compared to other blockchain solutions?
Yeah, so it all comes down to our consensus mechanism. It's tried, it's tested. It's just a BFT consensus mechanism, and we do place big priority on this for two reasons. Aside from security, what's important in terms of security is that you make the financial incentive to take over your network pretty much impossible by making the amount to do a 51% attack, or whether it be a 34% attack, so high that not a single user or entity could do so, right? But aside from that, it all comes down to expanding your validators. Because when we expand our validator set, this is how the network become more decentralized over time. We are currently in POA, and we're strategically giving out our validators, but over time, this will be given out to the public. And the more decentralized we are, the more secure we will be. But next to that, we'll also be more scalable, right? Because we're making use of dynamic sharding, it's in our validators that we'll actually be able to even break over the 100,000 TPS, and in theory, maybe even achieve over 1,000,000 TPS, right? So 2 in 1 there.
Okay, the speeds that you just mentioned were just insane compared to, everything else we hear around. So I think that's like reason enough for people to actually start, switching applications on Venom blockchain. Coming to Venom India, we have noticed that there's a lot of activity happening now in India regarding Venom blockchain. There have been a few meetups, and so far, like as far as I've heard, people sound very excited about building on Venom. So we wanted to know your take, in the team, like what's your expectation from India? Because I feel like India is a place, with a lot of talent in terms of developers and builders and founders. So, so far, how's your experience been? And, how do you see this, chain in India growing?
I really think it's great. What I've noticed from the Indian dev community in general is, unlike the West, they really want to explore what's new and find the opportunities where they're not sought out. So what I mean by this is, they're really taking initiative to go ahead, read the docs, and learn how to actually implement TESOL, which it's fantastic to see. And I'm really bullish on India for Venom, because I think this is where we're going to get our first strong dev community to really guide the way for future devs. They're really betting on the fact that there are going to be millions of users on this chain, and what's going to happen when you have millions of users? People are going to want to build thousands of use cases, and when people want to build thousands of use cases, they need enough developers to be able to build those, right? So really interesting to see, and I think India has got it spot on. And I love the energy I'm seeing from there.
That's amazing to hear. So far, a lot of developers have shown interest in Venom. So I wanted to know if, like how can they find different tools and resources to be able to start building on Venom blockchain?
Yeah, like my biggest advice would be, for one, read the docs, read them as much as you can, learn them off by heart, right? Go through them, explore, and try to just build. The best thing is just testing and also communicating with the fellow devs, right? That's a nice thing about crypto. It's all about doing this together, uh, meeting people that you've never met before, and it's like a team effort, right? So find a group of devs, communicate with them, ask them for questions. That's what crypto is about, right? It's about this strong community, and I think that's definitely where it's headed. Um, so that's my biggest advice. Next to that, there's also a couple of tools you can also use as developer. Get started with Locklift. So that's our IDE based on Truffle, hard hat for developers to actually uh, code in TESOL. And next to that, look at our GitHub. There's a lot of source code in there, which can help you get started and deploy your first application as well.
Okay, that's amazing to hear. So if any devs are here who want to just get started building on Venom, you can just go to the documentation and check out the GitHub and get started. So my last question to you from my end would be, so like now that you've told like people how to build on Venom and what are you expecting from Venom, can you also talk about what kind of applications do you really look forward to seeing on Venom blockchain? And like you mentioned, you've already come across some interesting dApps. So what else would you like builders to build and see come to fruition?
Yeah, I think like the strong dApps on our ecosystem are dApps that can't really be replicated by other blockchains. So like the example that I just mentioned of the peer-to-peer encrypted messaging app, right? It wouldn't be possible on other chains due to fees. But then there's also other ones, like because all accounts are smart contracts, as we know. There's the ability to make subscription-based applications, right? Think about it. We all have Spotify, Netflix, I guess, um, and we're so used to paying on a monthly basis for these subscriptions. That's also possible on Venom due to our architecture. So people that can find how this chain is different from other chains and leverage on that fact so that they actually position their application in a sense where they don't have competition from applications on other chains. I think those will really be key players. That's my take on that.
Awesome. So I think that's the end of questions from me, but I would like to hear more from our audience here. It looks like there's a lot of really cool people gathered here. I see Bilal in the audience. Shout out to Bilal. Hi Bilal. So Bilal is he is sort of a celebrity, and yeah, like there was a meme long ago, and Bilal was featured on that. So hi Bilal. Uh, does anyone else here have any questions? You can just request to come up on the stage, and you can ask Daryl.
Hello.
Hey Blockbound, what's up?
Oh, hi.
Hello, buddy. How you
Hey,
doing?
Daryl. Hey, Venom team. India, pretty cool to get on this AMA with you guys. My name's Anthony. I'm the founder of Block Pound, and we have some Indian devs. So I'm with you on the being bullish on India on the dev side. So that's pretty cool. And I'll say on the Venom side, good job with the documentation. We've been diving into the documentation. Essentially, we're building infrastructure for gamified fitness. We make it possible for developers to transform real life activities and health data into engaging gaming experiences. So we're very much interested in building a specialized blockchain, essentially a work chain, to support developers in these efforts. And we've joined the hackathon to reveal Pound, our gamified fitness app. So we're moving forward with that. My question is, if we're building on the base chain, Daryl, will those uh, integrations be able to be migrated over to a future work chain?
Yeah, given that the future chain is still on TVM, right? Because we give a lot of customizability in terms of what you can deploy as a work chain. So in theory, you could actually even develop like an EVM compatible work chain or even an LLVM or so forth, your own consensus mechanism, whatever. So given that it's like the same as the Venom base chain, you should have no problem with that.
Great, great. Because what was we our plan is to build the work chain on the Venom, and we're essentially starting from scratch, so it should work out. Now, is Venom actually reviewing grants at the moment?
Yeah, of course, of course. I look
All
at
right, good.
one every single day. I love to see what you guys come up with. I swear, the creativity in the space, it's been blowing me away. I think the bear market has really brought out the best of the industry.
All right, now are hackathon participants eligible for grants?
Of course, yeah. They're judged by two separate teams. So
Okay, great,
the
great.
usual grant team, but we also have the judges for the hackathon. So should be no problem with that.
All right, well, look us up. We submitted a few weeks ago, so we should be in the funnel there for grants.
Cool, cool, cool. No, definitely looking forward to it, man. It looks great.
All right, thanks, guys. Looking forward to learning some more as you guys get through testnet. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we have Shivam and Vivan live here on stage. So, Shivam, do you want to ask something to Daryl?
Hey, yeah, sure. Thanks for opening up the mic. Hey, Daryl. So I'm a marketing guy through and through, and kind of right now like Web3 content marketing. So I think one of the big questions, I don't know if you guys covered it or not. I just kind of joined a little late. Would be within the Indian ecosystem, like, are there any specific things that you guys have planned when it comes to marketing, reaching more people? And I'm not just talking about getting more social media followers, because to be honest, like that's fine. But when it comes to adoption, when it comes to let's say more developers who aspire to build on top of Venom, anything specific that you can share?
Yeah, for sure. So we actually take the approach of providing support to different regions across the globe, depending on the demand that we see there. So we see that there's a big inflow of devs from India. We'll do anything that we can in order to foster the growth from that region. It could be as simple as doing events there, but it can also go to the extremes of even opening up a regional hub or something like that, right? Like we started out here with our partnership with Hub 71, a hub here in the UAE to actually foster the growth of startups in the region and be able to provide them funding and also incubation, acceleration, and so forth. But it's definitely something that we can also look at with the other regions. India is definitely, within the crosshairs. I'm loving what I'm seeing there, so we are doing our best to also expand there.
Yeah, if you allow, I can add something to that, Daryl, as well.
Yeah, please go ahead, Bilal. All good.
Yeah, so firstly, thank you so much. And we are really excited and bullish on the Indian ecosystem with Gorang, who's doing a wonderful job. And we've got so many exciting things coming up in real life events as well. So we are really, really bullish to build one of the biggest communities out of India, uh, especially, focusing a lot on T-Soul developers.
Awesome. Thanks for taking that. Yeah, I think ambassador programs as well as events and stuff like that is definitely there. Over to you.
Thanks, Shivam, for that question. Vivan, do you have a question for Daryl?
So I don't have a question per se, but I would like to congratulate the Venom team, Venom Foundation team, to start actively participate in India. I basically work with DivideX Foundation, and very less DeFi protocols, DeFi projects have been actively working in India, and I'm really excited to see that Venom Foundation, along with Gaurang, Bilal, and building a in-house team here in India, and taking the community ahead. Really excited to be working with the community in some other way. And congratulations, Venom. Welcome to India.
Thank you. We couldn't do it without you guys. We're only as strong as the community. And really, it's a team effort. When I say team effort, I don't mean the Venom team. It's really everyone that's invested into the project. The devs, the users, the founders, everyone really. It's really a team effort at the end of the day. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Vivan, for that question. Yeah, I guess that's it. We don't have any more requests for people to come up and ask questions. So, just wanted to ask you, Gaurang. Gaurang, did you want to come up and say a few words about how Venom's Indian plans to expand in India is going on? Just add something. Yeah.
Guys, I'm audible.
Yep.
Oh, thank you so much, Daryl, for taking your precious time out. It really means a lot. I mean, I understand you've been running through a busy schedule, but making it happen for us in India, it's something which is much needed and kind of really helps. In terms of Indian ecosystem, right, there have been quite a few things happening, and soon we'll be rolling out a lot of new updates and whatnot. Make sure you follow the Venom India page as well, and lot of things in the back we are working on, trying to onboard more and more devs. Right, apart also do check out the Venom's testnet. If you're a dev, make sure that you apply for the hackathon, which is currently going on, and whatnot. So yeah.
All right. Thanks, Gaurang, for that. With that, we come to the end of the spaces. So, Daryl, do you want to just share some closing thoughts with the audience?
Yes, thank you guys so much for attending. Really, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope we can do this in the future again. To all of the hackathon participants, good luck. You guys have come up with some really cool stuff from what I've already seen. Likewise, if you guys want to learn more, explore the docs, be active in the community. I try to be there when I can to answer stuff as well. If not, please send me a DM on Twitter. I'll get back to you as well. Do anything I can to help you guys get more familiar with Venom. And like I said, we're all in this together. So let's make the best of it. And I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Daryl, for that. And thank you, everyone, for coming over and asking questions and, just being a part of our community. So, thank you, everyone. I'm going to close the space now. In 5, 4, 3, 2,